Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Sanji. Good morning, Mark.
Mark is on. So far, we have only 5 people. 6.
Testing connect. Добрый день, участники.
Еще 1 минута осталось. Now it's working. Mark, do you hear me? You are mute. Yeah. You are mute today. I see mute sign. I don't hear you actually.
You're mute, Mark.
Some problem. Microsoft microphone is not working. He's saying.
Oh,
it's like yesterday. What? But we see the sign, kind of microphone mute. Very strange. Maybe you reboot. Don't hear. This is again bad. Something problem with Zoom and you hear me, right? Barujan. Hello? Barujan, do you hear me?
Yes, Sanji.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Well, he has again microphone problem. We see muted, but he says that he's not muted. Yeah, with the sign is muted. Did you select the correct one, right, Mark? Although it's why it says muted, maybe. Hello? Hi, Mark. Yeah, now I can hear you. Huh? Oh, Yesterday, something similar happened to Ron. We couldn't hear him. But in your case, I see him. Yeah. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, it could be. I see muted, like sometime from computer, if you directly go to the sound, maybe, this computer sound. Do you see? It's in the computer sound setting. Yeah. Not Zoom, but computer. Yeah, yeah. The same thing yesterday. Yeah, I could talk to Ron through link. No. Okay, you please reboot it. Reboot. Тут проблема с микрофоном. Его микрофон не работает почему-то для Zoom. Zoom не работает, поэтому он будет сейчас перегрузить свой компьютер. Я не знаю, что-то не с Zoom, не проблема с Zoom. Вот вчера тоже, на самом деле, была проблема с Zoom. Другие...
Вчера же было нормально же, у Марка сюда было нормально.
Все время было нормально, да. Все 4 дня было нормально. Сегодня, не знаю. Он говорит, что там Zoom показывает, что Zoom не может найти его микрофон.
Коллеги, добрый день. Сейчас вроде бы уже у Марка был активный микрофон, просто он вышел, чтобы перегрузиться. По идее, уже все хорошо.
Не слышал я. Нет, я боюсь, что это может быть проблема. Потому что... Насколько сегодня мало будет, да? Если что, придется опять из Teams.
Ну, что получается? Я могу включить микрофон?
Возможно.
Нет, говорит, звука нет у него вообще в целом не работает.
Он сейчас перегрузит
Ну,
компьютер.
просто было показано, что отключен микрофон. Даже если бы у него не было звука на компьютере, у него должен был быть включен микрофон. Это как у нас Jabra работает, что больше.
А он будет презентовать, да?
Он
будет презентовать.
спикер, да, он обычно.
Что?
Перезагружался.
А, вот, появился. Опять выключено микрофон.
Oh, yes. Now it looks good.
Yeah, and you can hear me now, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now you are unmuted, sort of.
Yeah, no, but now I can indeed press the button. It was not working before.
Я по-любому завершаю. Все.
Which button you press?
Да, сейчас в 3 часа запущу второй тренинг.
Okay, that's good.
Нет, я приостановил пока, чтобы вкусвидаю.
What was the problem? Did you figure out, Mark? Because that could be same.
Хорошо.
No, yeah, I just restarted my whole computer.
Yeah, maybe that's something with the computer. Yeah. If you usually don't turn off it.
Well, yeah, last night I turned it off.
Okay. Usually when you don't turn off for 3-4 days, like.
Yeah, then it starts bugging. Yeah. No, but all right. At least you can hear me now.
Very good. Yes, I was started to worrying him.
Yeah.
Sanjay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sanjay.
Yes.
Sanjay.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Проблемы все решены? Можно начинать?
Да. Все окей, да. Давайте начнем.
Да, хорошо. Уважаемые коллеги, небольшие неполадки были со звуком, так что начинаем наш тренинг очередной. Все на связи, все готовы? Всем хорошего дня, спасибо. Good morning, Sanjay. Good morning, Mark.
Morning.
Let's start.
Morning, let's start.
Okay. Well, good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Today, last day of the training. So for today, I prepared a short, agenda for my for the training. I think it's nice if we can do one more exercise with the WFLOW model today, and then we make a step back to the view system, where I provided you with 2 models for your region. So we will have a quick look at these models and integrate them in the view system, and then we hopefully can run the models within the view system. So that is for today. Before we start with the last WFLOW exercise, is there some questions about yesterday's exercise or about the model in general, or any remarks that you want to make before we go to the next step? No, I forgot the interpretation function indeed. So I did not hear anything. Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah. Ah, okay. 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 Well, hopefully they can hear me and with that also you. If you turn on the channel. Well, if there's no questions about yesterday's meeting, then I suggest we go on with the tutorials. So I'm going to share my screen. Yeah, it was the translation. This is the view system. So I wanted to go to this tutorial. Yeah, so Wednesday and yesterday we start with the WFLOW tutorials. So we basically covered the basics on hydrology modeling with WFLOW. And yesterday we did also the first exercise of model inputs and preparation. So creating the WFLOW land use map. And for today, I suggest we do one more exercise, and that is adding water bodies to the model. So that is lakes and reservoirs. My suggestion is that I now slowly demonstrate this this tutorial, because then since this tutorial is also recorded, you can also look at it later to see how I do it. So I'm going to open the adding water bodies to the model tutorial. And what are we going to do? We're going to add a lake and a reservoir to our model. So to do that, the exercise is prepared in a way that we have provided a shapefile for the lakes based on the Hydro Lakes database. For those who don't know it, but it's a global database with information about lakes. So the data is provided in the data folder, and I'm going to load this data in QGIS together with my stream order map. So first I'm going to start QGIS. So that will take a bit of time. And then I'm going to add my stream order layer. Stream order is the map that basically contains the river network, so to say, of my model. And this is also one of the maps that we've seen before, that you've seen before also in your QGIS environment. So while it's starting up, well, I'll just wait a little bit. Yeah, there it is. Well, then I'm gonna add a new layer. So that is first I'm gonna add my raster layer, my stream order map. So I'm gonna go to, let me say, tutorials, WFLOW, static maps, and then I scroll to the stream order map. Yeah, there it is. And I'm gonna add that to my map. Yeah, so there it is. I'm gonna make this one a bit smaller. Well, it's always nice to style it a little bit. So I style it with blue colors, classify. Yeah, so now I have a nice map of my stream order. If I want, I can also put a background map. So for example, I do a satellite map on the background. So then I can see where my catchment is located. And then in the tutorial, it says add also the lake.shape. So I'm gonna add another layer. In this case, it's not a raster layer, but a vector layer. And that should be in the data folder, and it's called lake.shape. There it is, open, and I'm gonna add it. And now I see it's very small. I see that the lake has been added to my map, and here I see the lake. Well, I can maybe have a look on it. If I turn off the lake, I see indeed that also on the satellite imagery there is a lake here, and this is basically just the outline of the lake, and it's overlaying now with my stream order network. So if I zoom in, I would also be able to see the stream probably. Yeah, so here you see a very small stream, which is basically this big stream in my WFLOW model. So the outflow of the lake is around here, and the water flows according to this network, stream network, downstream, all the way downstream to the outlet of my catchment. Yeah, so this is the shapefile of the lake. And then in the tutorial, it says, well, we can have a look at the attributes of this lake. So I use this button in QGIS, which I can find here. And I can click on the lake. And then here on the lower right, there's some attributes popping up now. And these attributes say something about the ID of the lake in the database, the country in which the lake is located, the area of the lake in square kilometers, the length of the let's say the circumstance of the lake, the volume of water stored in the lake. Well, there's all kinds of attributes, and these attributes can be useful for setting up the lake model in WFLOW. So that was the first step of the tutorial. Then the next step is that we create the map files that are actually needed by the WFLOW model. And the first one is the WFLOW lake areas.map. So this is the one that we need to create. So we're going to create this map file by basically rasterizing our shapefile. So here we are going to use the rasterize function in QGIS, where we translate the vector to raster. And we're going to basically copy paste all the settings from what we see in this window. So I'm going to raster conversion rasterize. Yeah, so I see now here this window popping up. It's under the raster toolbar. My input layer, well, that's the shapefile, so that's the lake file. Then field to use for a burn-in value. So basically, I can use a column or an ID from the shapefile to give as a value in my raster file. So in this case, we select the HILAC ID, so basically the ID of the lake, as the value that we want to give to all the pixels in the raster layer. So we use the HILAC ID. So this one we keep 0 because we use the HILAC. And then the output raster size units, well, we use georeferenced units, and we use the same width and height of the cells as that we also saw yesterday in the exercise. So because this is the grid size of the WFLOW model, so 0.008333. So georeference units, and this one was 0.008333. Yeah. So that's the width horizontal resolution, and that's the same for the height or vertical resolution, so 0.008333. So now we've set basically the grid size of the output map file. For the extent, we can use the information contained in our stream order map, because the stream order map is already the extent of our WFLOW model. So basically here on the right side, I can click here and I can say use layer extent. So I click on the layer and then I use the WFLOW stream order to calculate basically the extent of my output. Well, then, well, no data value, we keep as is. Output data type, in this case, we set it to int32. So then we go down, output type, output data type, int32. And then basically that's it. So then we can run it. Let's go down, run. Okay. Yeah, and now we see here that this layer was created. So this is a raster layer, basically covering all the cells that are in the shapefile. As you see, not all cells in the lake are covered with the raster file. So we need to correct it. So for this we use a tool and that's the next step, is that we use a tool to basically fill in all the cells that are overlapping or touching the lake shapefile. So I'm going to use the Serval plugin, and there's that is this icon, and I'm going to set the value to this hit for HiLuck ID. So here there's the Serval plugin. This is the value that I want to give to my cells, and I just basically go in and I select, oh, sorry, I need to, yeah, probing mode, this one, and then this one to draw actually. So I'm going to draw all the cells that are more or less touching or covering the shapefile. That's done now. So that was this step. I missed one. Yeah, there it is. So now I see I created, I basically edited my output raster file. And now we're going to save this raster file in the PC raster format. So then I'm going to use the translate function also from the raster toolbox to save it as a PC raster map. So how do I do that? Well, I select the rasterize, raster, conversion, translate. So my rasterized map is the input. I want to well, make sure it's in the right projection, so I force it to be in this projection, WGS84. What does it say more? Yeah, we're gonna save it as a PC raster map with a value scale which is nominal. So here I'm gonna add a new PC raster value scale with the value scale nominal. Yeah, PC raster value scale nominal. Yeah, that looks good. Output data type int 32. And in this case, I'm going to save it as my WFLOW lake areas map. So I'm going to save it, save the file. New maps, WFLOW lake areas map. And then I'm going to save it. Yeah, looks good. Run. And now a new map has been added. Well, let's remove these for now, because now I'm going to check in my folder if it was indeed created nicely. That is in D, projects, CAREC, training, WFLOW tutorials, WFLOW Moselle, new maps, and there should be a lake areas.map. Yeah, so I can just drag it into my QGIS, and yes, there it is, my lake areas map with the ID of the shapefile. So now I can also overlay it here. So here you see, yeah, I covered nicely the shapefile, and all the cells that are slightly touching or overlapping with the lake are now covered with grid cells in the lake areas map. So that was the first step in creating a lake module in QGIS. So this was one of the maps that we actually need. The second map is the WFLOW lake logs, or the lake locations, and that map basically shows the outlet of the lake, and the ID should be the same as the WFLOW lake areas.map. So what we are going to do is we're going to basically copy paste the WFLOW lake areas map, and then we're renaming it to lake logs.map. So I'm gonna say, well, this one, Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V, and then I'm gonna rename it. Where is that? Rename. So lake logs. Yeah, I'm going to add this one to my QGIS also. Yeah, so it's now exactly the same as my lake areas, but the lake logs basically only should point to the outlet. So I'm going to remove basically all the cells that are not the outlet from my lake logs map, and again can use the serval plugin. And well, the outlet is located. Let me say, is located here. So we can see that also that here the stream order indeed is high. So basically I only want to keep this cell I want to keep, and all the other cells I put back to 0. And I can do that by just setting the raster cell value to no data of all the other cells in my map. So I'm going to just nicely erase all the values in my map. Let me make sure that and let me check. Yeah, this one I want to keep. So this one, yeah, so this is basically the outlet of my lake. So here I see indeed that I have nicely the outlet of my lake is still there. Oh, apparently something happened here. Yeah, okay. Okay, so that was this step. Yeah, and then I can save it. Well, it's already saved automatically. So I think it's okay now, and I can basically remove that from my QJS just to check if I add it again, if it's then still. Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, so my lake logs map is indeed created as it should be. So now we have created the lake areas map and the lakes log map. So that was, I think, the most important part. And then, of course, we need to also set some parameters of the for the lakes, because we have to say something about how the model should be simulating the lake levels and the lake outflow. And there's a set of TBL files that can help you with that, or that can be used for that. But maybe that is enough for now. So maybe this is a good moment to stop for a moment, and also for you to try now if you can do the manipulations of these lake area map and the lake logs map based on the tutorials. Yeah, so I would suggest that you pick up from where we left yesterday. You open the tutorials, and we open the adding water bodies to the model, and then we add the stream order map to QGIS. We add lake.shape to QGIS, and then we use the rasterize toolbox to rasterize the shapefile, and then we use the serval plugin to correct our raster map, and then we translate this raster map into PC raster format. We copy paste this map and we correct then the second map to only cover the outlet using this serval plugin again. So that is in short the steps to add a reservoir to or a lake to your model. So I suggest that now it's time that you do this yourself. Is that okay? Okay.
It is in the chat.
Okay,
So,
yeah, that's okay.
Yes.
Okay, well then let's go on, and if there's any questions, please let me know. Then I'll try to solve any question or issue.
Do we have anyone from Uz Hyderabad? I see Kaz Hyderabad, Taz Hyderabad.
I see there's a question in the chat about the probing
Yes,
tool. I
yes.
see.
She cannot find probing.
Yeah.
Servo.
So let me show my screen.
Servo.
Yes. So let's go. Okay. So the probing tool is part of the Servo plugin. So for me, let's say the Servo plugin shows the toolbox here. So here I have the probing tool, and here I can draw, and here I can set to no data. But to check if you, because the Servo plugin is not automatically installed with QGIS, so you have to install it using the plugin manager. And then you search for, well, you go to all and then you say Servo, and then it should be installed. So that's maybe something to check if you installed the plugin, yes or no. That's maybe the first question. And if you did install it, then maybe you can have a look under the plugins. There should be Servo and then show Servo toolbar. And then it will, I think, show this toolbar, including the probing tool. Can you find this one now? Or otherwise, maybe share your screen so that we can have a look together. So it's not working. Do I get that correctly? And if not, maybe can you share your screen? Then we can have a look together. Okay, yeah. So, well, what does it say? It says choose a raster to work with. So what you have to do is on the left side, select the lake raster file. So you go, so you select the lake, no, the raster file, not the shape file, the raster file. So the top one. Lake underscore raster, yes, select, and now you can use the probing tool on the raster map. Yeah, perfect. And what you want is the probing tool is basically there to find the value of a certain cell. So you use the probing tool on the black cells. Yeah, so use on the black, and then you see now a value appearing. On the black cells. Yeah, exactly. And now you keep it there, and then you go to the drawing mode. So that is the yellow pencil, the yellow one. Yeah, and now you can click on this on other cells. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, perfect. Nice. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, and if you made a mistake, you can use the eraser. So that's the third one. Yeah, on the cells that you want to remove again. Yeah, perfect. Okay. And if you want to stop using the Servo plugin, just select another tool like the hand or the information panel. All right. Any other questions? Okay, I suggest to take a 10-minute break, and then after the break, I will demonstrate the next step, where I will show the models that we've developed for your region, and how they are integrated into Delft Views. So I'll be back in 10 minutes, and then I'll demonstrate the next step. Okay, how is everybody doing? Making progress with the exercises, tutorials? Okay, I see. Okay, that's nice. Yeah, so maybe I want to demonstrate the next step, or at least to show some of the things that we prepared for you that you can also review on a later moment when you have maybe a bit more time to explore. So what I wanted to show is that we've been working now with the WFLOW tutorials for the Moselle catchment, which is a catchment in the Rhine basin, and that is of course for you less interesting. So one of the things that we also prepared is 2 models for your region. So in the material that was sent to you earlier this week, in the Fuse tutorials, there's also an exercise 7 folder. And if you go in there, you see a config and a modules folder. And in the modules, you see WFLOW, and there's WFLOW Carrick 01 and WFLOW Carrick 02. And basically, those are 2 models that are of the region that you are working in. So I prepared already in QGIS, but I will show that again from scratch. But here is basically the 2 models, or the 2 catchments that we've prepared. So if I zoom out a little bit, you see there's 2 basically upstream river basins that are within your region. And for these 2 regions, we set up the model. How did I do this? Let me just go back, remove all the layers. So if I want to make this map, and you can do that yourself, if you want to explore the model, I'm going to add a few layers. So I'm going to start with some raster layers. So I'm going to go to the training tutorials, exercise 7 modules, WFLOW Carrick 01. And then I can add some maps here. So I will add the WFLOW DEM and the WFLOW stream order map maybe. And maybe I want to see which reservoirs are there. So I select also the reservoirs area, add. So then these 3 maps are added to my map. So I have the WFLOW DEM. And now I can of course do a little bit of styling if I want. So I can also do some other type of styling, but maybe just keep it as is. Then I have the stream order map. So this is basically my river network. I can do the typical blue styling, classify. So this is my river network for this catchment. And maybe I also included now the reservoir map. So I do another type of styling, random colors, classify. Yeah. So then I see also that there's some reservoirs included in my model. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 reservoirs within this subbasin. And if I turn off my DM, then I see that, yeah, indeed, there's a reservoir here. Yeah, another reservoir here. No, maybe this is a small reservoir. Yeah, there's a small reservoir here, which is included in the model. And what this one is not, but maybe that one is outside of my model domain. Yeah, indeed. So here's another reservoir here. Yeah, another reservoir, and I think there was one last one. Yeah, so the reservoirs, these are the reservoirs that are included in my model schematization. So I can basically also start exploring my model. I can add some other layers, and in the folder you see in WFLOW Character. There's static maps and there's a static geoms, and static geoms are basically shape files or GeoJSON files that are also showing some part of the schematization. So I can add, for example, the river layer. Sorry, and it's not a raster. I'm going to add a vector layer. So that is static geoms, and I'm going to add my river layer and my basin layer. So I'm going to add those, and that will take some time, but there they are. So the first one is my catchment boundary. So that is this this gray or brownish. So I can also style this a bit nicer. Well, I don't want any fill. Maybe my outline of my catchment I want to make red and a bit thicker. So now I see nicely the outline of my basin. And then I have my rivers. And my rivers I can also style, and there's some nice trick for styling, because I can do a graduated styling based on stream order or upstream area. And if I do it on stream order, I can also say I want to do it by size. So the thickness of the line is changing with the upstream or the stream order. And a river is blue, so I take the color as blue, classify. Yeah, and now you see that I have my my river layer added to my model. And I see the small rivers with a small stream order. And then if you go downstream, well, of course, the stream order or the size of my stream is growing. So I can actually see nicely the big rivers I can distinguish from the smaller rivers. And I see, yeah, the shape of this catchment is quite interesting. So I see the river starting here, and then here there's apparently a ridge, but there's a breakthrough in this ridge, and the river continues all the way till the point where I derived the model for. So this is basically the model that we that we set up, and of course we can also add some other layers. So for example, some parameter layers. So for example, in the static maps, what is an interesting one, for example, well, maybe the routing depth is an interesting one. You can add that one. So here I see a map of the routing depth. So I can also do maybe a color map here. Well, maybe it's green. So the darker green, the deeper the roots are. So that is maybe it could be grasslands, for example. We can add other maps as well. What is another interesting map? Well, maybe the slope. That's also because in the end we need the slope to calculate flow velocity. So here we see the slope. Well, let's say go from 0 to 1. We can do that in reds maybe. So the more red, the higher the slope. So indeed, yeah, you see that the slopes are high in the upstream area, and the slope becomes very low in the low-lying area. And that well, is also logical. If you look at the elevation model, you see basically the same. And you see that the elevation differences in this region are very low. So this is one of the two models that we included in the tutorial that you can explore yourself. And what we can do is add this model to the view system, because in the tutorials I prepared it as exercise 7 of the views tutorial. So basically what you can do is you can copy these files to where you have your view system installed. So that can be copied to here. So basically what I can do is I have my tutorials, exercise 7, I select, say Control-C, and then I go to my folder where I stored my view system, and then I can basically paste the folders here. So you see here the config folder modules. And then I restart my Fuse application. And when I do that, then I see that I have a new option. I can actually run now my models. So my model A or model B. Well, in this case, I run model B. And I can actually do a run. So I started now a run for the first month of 2014. So the start time, for end time is the end of January. Start time is the 1st of January. And I can start this run. So I clicked on run. And now I see that my model is actually running. And I'm now waiting till the model is finished so that I can visualize the model results also in the spatial data display. So that's, I can check already how far is the model. The default, let me see. Yeah, so it's time step 21. Well, it's a big model, so it will take a bit of time before it's finished. While we wait, I can maybe also show the other model that we included. So in QGIS, this is the first model. I can also add the other model. So that is not Carrick 1, Carrick 2, static maps, WFLOW DEM. Add. Yeah, and then you see that this is the other model domain. So these two models are now prepared and are included in the can be included in the Fuse system. So I will add then also the basin and rivers. Yeah, so basin I can copy. Right mouse click, copy style, all style categories, and I'll paste them here. Style, paste, all style categories. And then I have my rivers, style, copy style, all style categories. And I do the same here, style, paste style, all categories. Yeah, and now you see that, let's say for the two models, we have a nice nice map of the model that we can visualize in QGIS. Yeah, so this is basically like this. Yeah, so this is basically the two models that we prepared, and that we can also run from the Fuse interface. Well, the models that we built for this region are based on the global data. So this you will see that that, for example, land cover, soil data is all from global data set, but also the elevation data is from a global data set. And what we see, and that is nicely highlighted here, is that the data that we see that there's a gap in this catchment. That means that this is basically an inland basin. So there's this is a separate basin from the rest. And well, I am not completely sure if that is correct or not, but this is, if we use global data, this is what comes out. And maybe that is not the reality. Maybe in reality, this catchment or this region is connected to the main river. So if, for example, you have a better or higher resolution digital elevation model, this might need to be redone if you want to set up a complete model. On the other hand, what I see if I look on the map is that there seems to be some rivers here, but it also seems that there's like an inland delta. So I see that, let's say, the river comes here from the mountains, and then I see like a delta, inland delta, and it looks like the water and the rivers is basically not going anywhere. So it could be well true that this catchment, which is like this hole in the big catchment, is actually stopping here, so that there's indeed no connection to the river here. But that's maybe something you know better than I do, because I just use the global data, and you are the ones that have more knowledge about the region itself. But yeah, this is, let's say, what comes out of the global model. So maybe someone can answer this question also. If this is like reality, is this indeed like an inland catchment with an inland delta, or is this river actually connected to the main river and also drains towards the northwest? Is there someone that can tell that? Or Sanjay, maybe you know.
No, I don't have idea. Yeah, it looks like you are saying, right? But I don't have. Maybe someone from Kaz Hydro or.
Yeah, because are we in Google Hybrid?
In which country this?
Yeah, I'm looking. I think it might be. Is that Uzbekistan?
Okay, we don't have here from Uzbekistan. I think no one. We don't have. I think.
Maybe it's not even. Maybe it's even still. Could that be still Afghanistan?
No, it is Uzbekistan, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Do you know if this is like, let's say, reality? That this indeed like an inland catchment?
What is the catchment actually? Which river?
Yeah. So well, let me add. Oh.
I'm not from Uzbekistan, but maybe I'm familiar with.
Yeah. Can I maybe change my coordinate system?
Is it Chivchik River or what?
That's a good question. I see Chulm as the city. Let's say that. Yeah, it's difficult to see on the map.
Yeah, let me check 1 minute.
Yeah. OpenStreetMap knows.
It's written in Arabic.
Yeah. Yeah. This I cannot read. Yeah. Well, it's for now maybe not super important, but it's just something that I find very interesting to see, that because yeah, we use this global data, and normally it's quite good, but if it's flat, then the global data is sometimes not completely correct. So then it is always interesting to see what comes out, and yeah, to see if it's correct, yes or no. Yeah, well, in the meanwhile, my simulation that I started was finished, so I can maybe have a look at the results now. So I started So I can now visualize the results here in the map, because my runoff simulation was finished. I can have a look at the river discharge, land runoff. I can see what was the precipitation that went into my model. I can have a look at the evaporation, the actual evaporation, snowpack simulation, and snow melt. So this is basically yeah, what I think we can continue with in the project is to set up this model in Fuse, because you've seen now how to use Fuse in the first 2 days of the training. We've done some exercises with the WFLOW model itself. Yeah, and I think what we can provide is like a Fuse system that includes these two models, which you can use then for your projects. So I think that that basically is what I wanted to show, but I can imagine that there's still some questions about this, and otherwise I suggest you try to yeah, practice a little bit more, and maybe it's time. We have 1 hour left in the training, and I think it's good to have a bit of a discussion on, yeah, what would you see as the next steps, what you would like to see or like to know, because then we can collect this information and to maybe provide some extra information after the training. And maybe Sanjay, you can tell something a bit about the next next steps in the project, actually, Sanjay, that we can build on top of this.
Yes, maybe they would be interested to make their own, small basins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Since I think this course gave them a good overview of the whole basin. So maybe for them, next step would be indeed to little bit learn about about the WFLOW model, and maybe some of them, like for example, Kaz Hydro has their own models, and maybe they can convert that to WFLOW and then see if and compare them, and see if how it. So is it difficult to convert usually if there is SBV models and so on, Mark?
Yeah, the HPV model, that's a good question, Sanjay, because as I said, maybe I can show you on the screen also, because we have the online documentation says something about that as well. This is the online documentation of WFLOW. And if we go to available models, you see that we also have a HPV implementation in WFLOW. And basically, what we did also for Rijkswaterstaat, that also uses a HPV model, is that we yeah, just copied all the parameters of the HPV model to the WFLOW HPV model, so that we can so that works quite well. What is then the added value of using WFLOW compared to the normal HPV model? Is that the WFLOW model is capable of using gridded input data, and in some catchments that makes a huge difference. If you can have spatially distributed rainfall, you can simulate more accurately the rainfall runoff process, of course. So that could be an option, is that we yeah, take one of these models from CAS Hydromet and convert it into a WFLOW HPV model, just to see how that works out, and if that provides any let's say added value also for CAS Hydromet. It could be a next step.
Yeah, that sounds good. No, если вот наши коллеги из CAS Hydro, если вы можете нам доставить какой-то бассейн, который у вас уже есть по SBV, в SBV, и мы можем его как бы превратить в WFLOW SBV, that's one. И это можно было, да, делать. Да. Так что скажите, как вы думаете здесь? Please let us know. What do you think? Yes. There are quite some from Kaz Hydro also, same with the Taz Hydro also, yeah, if they want to apply it for their basins, they can also try to make their, we have a list of basins that we, that they gave us as their priority. So we can check that.
Sanjay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, can we use our own basins as you are now saying? Yes, we have the boundaries and the DM of the basin as well as some meteorological data on the basin.
Mhm.
So can we make, as an example, the modeling of the basins in Tajikistan for
Of
next
course,
week?
yes. Yes, this is one of the also one of the how to say objective of this pilot. So we want you to make your a case with your own basin that is interesting for you,
Yes.
and definitely, yeah. So that's why please
Yeah.
please do that from now on. And if you have any questions, then you can always, because we are also going to set up some small kind of small, you know, training sessions, small in future. So in January, maybe in January, February.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you try to make your own model. So
Yeah.
we prefer that every country make their own model and then see how it performs. And if you already have some model, you can just simply convert that to WFLOW and see indeed the comparisons.
What if we don't have?
No problem. Then you can do from scratch. That's no problem. I mean,
Yeah.
I think Kaz Hydro is interested. They have already their models. That's why we thought they can look to this. But if you don't have, that's no problem. That's even good. So you can even make your own model and you can use it. You work in Taz Hydro, Orzu?
No, Tajik Island.
Sorry, where? Where do you work?
Tajikistan.
Yeah, but which organization? Taz Hydro or sorry, Taz Gidromet?
Yes, Tajikistan is Taj Hydromet.
Yes, you work in Taz Hydromet, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so so Taz Hydromet is one of our cooperative partners. So you can indeed develop your own WFLOW model and try to indeed look at integrate it also in Fuse. So you can use the whole system for your basins. So if you make one pilot basin, that would be already nice. So please go ahead with that. We will discuss about that later also. We will send them maybe a kind of message.
Yeah.
How to proceed.
Yeah, maybe what we can do, Sanjay, is to, let's say, prepare like a short overview of the data that we need then to set up these local models. So then we have like a well, of course we need a digital elevation model, maybe a shapefile of the river. If not, then we derive it from the digital elevation model. Maybe some information on land use and soil that we can then use to set up a local model. So I think if we provide that information, the requirements basically in a short memo, then all the Hydromet services can try to collect some of the data, and then in these small sessions we will demonstrate how to set up a model from this base data that can be used either standalone or in Fuse in the future. Does that sound good?
Yes, yes. So Arjun,
Yes,
you heard,
yes.
right? So please go ahead. So if you have information on your basins data, so you can share or work together to develop one pilot in Tajikistan.
Okay. But the information that I mean, the catchment that I have actually due, I mean, you were mentioning the information on soil, and I guess the information on soil agriculture and other aspects are unavailable because it's a mountainous area. So I don't know whether because there is information on the soil type, you know, and other things. But as for meteorological and hydrological, yes, they are available. So.
Yeah, so what I demonstrated now is that we are able to set up a model from global data. So we can do anything, we can do everything based on global data. But for some basins, you might have local data, which is more accurate, is better data. So we can also just basically replace some of the global data sets with local data. But if you don't have the local data, we can still use the global data for all the data sets that you don't have. So that we can make like a merge, a combination of local and global data, and make a model out of that.
Clear.
Yes, these exercises we showed you how global data can be used to set up the first model. Of course, you can then make it, refine it, put the information and more detailed data that is available for you with you. Yeah, so that's possible to do. And particularly if you have already studies and models like in CAS Hydromet, they have it, so they can use that model directly to convert to WFLOW. So if there is someone from CAS Hydro you want to comment, please do it.
Mark, also one question regarding
Yes.
to the hydrological data. Unfortunately, the decadal data is not available. It's only monthly data. Whether it works or no?
Well, let's say the WFLOW model works on a daily time step normally. So rainfall data, input data should normally be provided on daily time step. So if you only have monthly data, we can of course try to disaggregate that to daily data, but that will make the model less accurate, of course. The output can of course be analyzed on monthly data. So if you have discharge data only available on monthly data, then we can compare it on monthly data. But the input normally should be supplied on daily data.
Do you mean the daily data for the whole period from, for example, 1914 or 1913? It's a huge amount of data, no?
That is quite a lot of data, yeah, indeed. So it depends also on which period you want to run the model for. If you want to run it for 10 years, I think that is quite okay to have daily data as input. And that can also, by the way, be station data. It doesn't need to be gridded data per se. It can also be station data that we interpolate to the grid. So if you have, let's say, meteorological station data for the period 2000-2018, and say you have 10 stations, I think that is already a very good start to set up the model using this as input data to the model. But let me and Sanjay prepare next week a short memo that describes what type of data we think would be good to collect to set up these local models. Yeah, so then we prepare a short memo describing which data in which format is needed, and then you can say, well, this we have, this we don't, and for all the data you don't have, we can supply an alternative from global data. So that's then my suggestion that we from that make a combined data set, and then in the next training session we can then show you how this data set can be used to set up the model.
Okay, clear.
Good. Any other questions? Еще вопросы? Нет? Спрашивайте, у нас есть время.
Sorry?
Да, спасибо большое. Было бы хорошо, если бы вы отправили нам письмо, потому что у нас мы должны с начальством еще поговорить, чтобы передать вам данные. И если у вас будут с вашей стороны будут.
Of course. Yeah.
Ага.
Yeah. Okay.
Потом можно ли сюда интегрировать модель Майк? Мы в Казгидромете работаем еще с Майк 11, Майк Hydro. И можно ли его в Delphi тоже интегрировать?
Yeah, so mic models, we are capable of integrating mic models in the Fuse, in Delft Fuse. So so that is an option to explore indeed. But I have to check because I don't have experience myself with that, but there are some colleagues that might have this experience indeed. And then we can see if that is possible. But we should maybe also, and that's also to you, Sanjay, we have to think, let's say, what is feasible in general and what can we do within the project. So that's we should also be clear about that we cannot do everything within the project. So we have to prioritize a little bit in what we can do.
Yes, you are right. We have some limitations and the scope within this project. So the main thing is, of course, to give you this kind of basic training courses and maybe also do one or two pilot cases with like each country. So like Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, and if Turkmenistan, if they want. So just the basic pilot studies. And but if you want to have more, of course, we have to discuss how to do that, and maybe there are other scopes. We have to also see, because this is not easy. Delft Fuse can many models can be integrated in Delft Fuse. There are already adapters for that also, like for HHMS, HBV, and mic models, but that is not straightforward, and it's not like just plugin, because this all depends on the what kind of models, which version of the models. We have adapter maybe of the older version, and if you are using new version, the other ones, then it's not easy. It's not straightforward, but it is possible. That's why Delft Fuse is a very nice system where you can indeed integrate all kind of models, and not only hydraulic and hydrology, but also water quality and storm, like I think Mark showed you in the first presentation. Yeah, in that sense, Delft Fuse is a strong tool. So that is possible. But we don't know whether we can do it within the scope of this project or not. Maybe you can also ask for separate training sessions within the scope of some other projects or other activities. But we will try to see what can be done. We will discuss that.
Хорошо, спасибо.
Уже решено то, что в следующей неделе продолжение будет уже с пилотными проектами в наших странах, или как, или это все еще в разработке?
No, next week is not this one. Next week we will have another one, the water resource studies. Model 2 is the second model. But for this, we will make a plan. You can already start if you want. You can already start, but we are planning to make. We have to make a plan for January, for example, for January and February, how to proceed. And before that, maybe we also need to communicate. Yeah, what kind of basins you are looking at? Maybe talk about the selection of pilot basins. And then in January, we will plan, January and February, we will plan a short, not this kind of long things, but short and things with short missions, short training sessions with each hydromates. So it will be like individual sort of with each country and each hydromates. But we have to make a plan for that together with you. And we will do that through Karek. So Baudrin will be informed about that, and he will probably coordinate all this with you also. But that is the plan indeed for the future. Any other questions, comments? How did you like this course? Did you find it useful? Please comment.
Sanjay, can you hear me?
Yes.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Yes, we hear. Now we
Yeah.
hear. Yeah.
Can you then contact us because we are interested in working with that model? So maybe we'll choose one basin from Tajikistan that has discharge data. I'm not sure about daily data, but we'll see. So there are several hydrometallurgical stations. So yes, we will discuss I mean, with our staff from Hydromet whether they can give us permission. So then we can discuss about having a model on one of the catchments of Tajikistan. Yeah, is it okay? Can you then contact us later so that we can give you answer?
Yeah. We do it through Karek, so we will contact and we will tell Karek. So that's we have to do anyway. So since you are interested, that's very good. So
Yes.
we make the connection through Karek and then we plan. Yeah, we plan for January how we do that. So you will start making all this input. We will give you also, of course, the information. Like Mark said, next week we make a kind of memo, and based on that, you collect the data and try to collect information and even start setting up. And then we set up a kind of small sessions, so that Mark can advise you if there are some problems and those things. So we will see how to do that. So it's definitely nice. So please select the basin and let us know. Select make a selection of the basin and let us know about it, and then we will plan it. So the same goes for the Kaz hydromate and Uz hydromate. So please think about it. We have already some basins, name of some basins that they have selected. So, but we have to discuss that with Karek first also, and then we proceed. Yes. Any questions more? Yeah, from Kaz Hydro, I haven't heard anything. Would be good to hear something about if they have in mind some basins. We saw some names they have sent us earlier. We also know that they have models, hydrological models, hydraulic models in some. So we will be communicating in future. So if you don't have any questions, maybe today's session is the last day. So in Friday, so we will finish it here. You can always send the questions by email, no problem. Yeah, so please.
Это я с Казгидромета спрашивала про майк, и мы уже работаем с HPV. Мы вам давали список водосборных бассейнов. Есть литурген, кажется. До этого вам результаты тоже отправляли. И было бы хорошо, если бы вы письмо нам отправили сначала, и мы с начальством обсудим.
Yes, we will definitely do that. No problem. We will do that through Karek. So it's all official because this project is managed by Karek. So they will send you an official request. So we will send them and they will send you an official request so that indeed. So if it is possible to also share the model of your HBV, at least part of the model, so sub-basin, maybe not whole region, but part of the model that we can also check if it can be quickly converted to WFLOW. So we will do that. Thank you. How about Uz hydromate? There is one from Uz hydromate also, right? If I see, he's already left us. They already left. Okay, if you don't have any questions, thank you very much for your patience. And we hope that you will be working on this. We hope that it was useful. Wait, Scott, whose Hydro is connecting to audio? They want to say something? Whose Hydro? Maybe not. Okay. But anyway. So,
Санджей, на сегодня программа завершена?
Да, ну, похоже, что завершено, да. Да.
Отлично.
Да. So, мы потом
Ну
обсудим,
тогда...
как это дальше.
Да, я же на
Продолжим.
связи, Санджей. Тогда, дорогие участники, уважаемые участники, всем приятных выходных. У нас продолжается второе обучение по второму модулю, который был ранее разослан. Первый модуль мы сегодня завершаем. Дальше будут проходить работы по пилотным проектам. Вы, наверное, уже в курсе. Санджи, информацию дали по этому поводу?
Да, я им уже сказал.
Все хорошо тогда. Значит, вы в курсе. Будем дальше работать уже по мере продвижения работ.
Да. Спасибо вам большое и приятного.
Да, всем приятных выходных, хороших выходных, Санджей.
Вам тоже
Хороших выходных.
Спасибо. И увидимся в следующей неделе.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Mark. So we keep in
Yeah.
touch.
Very welcome, and I wish you indeed also a very pleasant weekend.
Надя, спасибо вам тоже за перевод, за оперативную работу.
Все презентации вы получите.
Вам тоже хороших выходных.
Как насчет презентации? Мы все презентации, запись всех презентаций вы получите.
Все окей, Санджи. Хорошо.
Окей. Спасибо. Давайте.
Я связуюсь, если что, в этом плане, как бы через меня можно будет, если будет возникать.
Да, там вопросы
по коннекту.
которые вы обещали отправить.
Мы отправили вообще, там мы давали ссылки на первые 2 дня, 3 дня. Там. Вы не получили, да? Сейчас, там есть.
Спасибо.
Thank you, David. Bye.
Yeah, Barjan also do me that.
Да, приходится.
I have also 2 sessions now, the second one in my mobile phone. They also said bye, so we are also saying bye. Okay.
So, thanks, Sanjay. Bye.
Спасибо, Nadia. We have so many interpreters. Thank you very much, Nadia, for your nice, very nice translation. Yeah.
Спасибо. Всем до свидания.
До свидания.
Goodbye, Mark. Goodbye, Sanjay.
Bye.